कस्तूरीतिलकं ललाटपटले वक्षस्थले कौस्तुभम् नासाग्रे वर्मौक्तिकं करतले वेणुकरे कङ्कणम् सर्वाङ्गे हरिचन्दनं सुललितम् कण्ठे च मुक्तावली गोपास्त्री परिवेष्टितो विजयते गोपालचूडामणि वसुदेवसुतं देवं कंसचाणूरमर्दनं देवकी परमानन्दं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुं कृष्णं वन्दे जगद्गुरुम् गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णु गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः तस्मै श्री गुरुवे नमः. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran and we are in Canto 10. We have covered 28 chapters so far, and today's session will be about the starting episode of the Ras Leela, which is a very special set of episodes in Bhagavad Mahapuran. Bhagavad Mahapuran is the highest Vedic scripture in the Vedic literature. Out of so many Puranas, Upanishads, Smritis, Vedas, Upavedas, Nibandh, Itihas, Bhagavad Mahapuran is considered the highest. And in Bhagavad Mahapuran, which has 12 cantos and 335 chapters, the 10th canto is considered special because it has exclusive Leelas of Lord Shri Krishna. And in the Canto 10, which has 90 chapters, the chapters 29 to 34 are like the jewel in the crown, and they are the Ras Leela. Very famous episodes, but we are not authorized to really talk about it because it is beyond the comprehension of even the great scholars. So Ras Leela and all these episodes cannot be understood without the grace of a guru. And we are very blessed that whatever we have learned from Sri Maharaj Ji and his preachers who have given us the permission to study Srimad Bhagavad Mahapuran, we shall attempt to go through these episodes, and the comprehension, of course, will be very, very difficult because these Leelas are very special. Just to recall that Bhagavad Mahapuran is one of the 18 Puranas. It has 335 chapters and 18,000 shlokas. And if we add the Mahatmya, which has 6 chapters in the beginning, are taken from Padma Puran. And Padma Puran is having 55,000 shlokas. But 6 chapters in Padma Puran glorify Bhagavad Dharma. And it is very much there in the Gita Press Gorakhpur version, 6 chapters from Padma Puran as Mahatmya. And at the end of the 335 chapters, there is another set of 4 chapters which are taken from Askand Puran. And Askand Puran, if I recall correctly, is the longest Puran in the set of Puranas with 81,000 shlokas. Skanda Puran, Skand is Lord Kartikeya and he glorifies Lord Shiv. So that is a Skanda Puran. And that Skanda Puran captures the glories of Bhagavad Mahapuran in 4 chapters. We also know that Sri Ved Vyas, who is the compiler of the Vedas in the recent times, Vedas are actually eternal Shastra. If someone says, how old are the Vedas? The answer is, it is eternal. It has appeared from the lotus mouth of the Lord. So the Vedas are as old as the Lord or as eternal as the Lord, because old, the term doesn't really describe the time span. So Vedas are eternal. It appeared from the lotus mouth of the Lord, and it is never lost, but it disappears from time to time. So when this creation began, creation of our Lord Brahma, which is 311 trillion years, Brahmaji lives for 100 years. So when he was manifesting from the lotus navel of Sri Vishnu, he wishes to know what is his purpose. And at that time, the Lord has spoken the Vedas and the Bhagavad Mahapuran to Brahmaji. And that shlok, Tene Brahma Hridaya Adi Kaviye Muyanti Yatra Yat Surya. So Brahmaji is the first recipient of the Vedic knowledge, and then he passes it on to his mind-born sons, and that is how the knowledge propagates. In our time, Sri Vyas divided the Vedas into 4: Rig Ved, Atharva Ved, Samved, and Yajurved. And then he taught these 4 Vedas to his 4 disciples named Vaishyampayan, Pal, Jamini, and Sumantu. So they are the great scholars of the individual Vedas. But Vedas cannot be comprehended because the word will mean something, but the essence will be something else. So to simplify the knowledge, Puranas are written and Upanishads are written. And even amongst them, Bhagavad Mahapuran is the highest because it talks about Bhakti Marg, which is the highest marg, which is the marg, which is the path which the Lord has recommended. Lord has said that Bhakti alone can give us our desired goal, which is God realization. So that is the importance of Bhagavad Mahapuran. Also, we just celebrated Holi, and it is very appropriate to remember why Holi is celebrated. So, as we would have understood, Holi is the celebration to reinforce our faith that the Lord is present in every atom of the universe. Because Prahlad Maharaj was tormented by his father Hiranyakashipu, because Hiranyakashipu did not want Prahlad to glorify Lord Vishnu, and he considered Lord Vishnu to be his rival. So he started to hate his own son and wanted to get him killed. So Holika Dahan is celebrated because his sister Holika had the boon that she cannot be burned by the fire because she had a divine magical shawl. But on that particular day, when Hiranyakashipu had wanted Prahlad to be uh, destructed in the fire, he made him sit in the lap of Holika, but Holika got burnt and Prahlad remained unharmed. So Holika Dahan is celebrated to remember the grace of the Lord, and Holi is celebrated to renew our faith that the Lord is there in every atom. And that's what Prahlad told his father. Yes, he is there everywhere. So his father asked, is he there in the pillar? Yes, he is there in the pillar. Prahlad replied. So he hit the pillar with his mace, and from the pillar, Narsingha Bhagwan appeared, and he killed Prahlad. He killed Prahlad's father, Hiranyakashipu, and he also met all the conditions of the boon which was given by Lord Brahma, that Hiranyakashipu cannot be killed outside or inside. He cannot be killed on the ground or in the sky. He cannot be killed by the astra or shastra, the weapons. He cannot be killed by a human or an animal. He cannot be killed in the day or in the night. All these conditions were met. So he put him on his lap. Narsingha Bhagwan put him on his lap, which was neither the ground nor the sky. He took him in the threshold of the house, which was neither outside or inside. He selected a time which was neither day or the night, the Sandhya, and he used his nails to tear his stomach. And he did not appear as a human or animal. He appeared as Narsingh with the head of lion and the body of the human. So, are we remembering with all that faith that the Lord is present everywhere in the Brahma form, in every atom? And also, the Lord is present in our heart as Paramatma. And the Lord comes as Sri Ram and Sri Krishna and Sri Narsingh. That faith we have to enhance. And lastly, the glory of the name, that the Lord is present in his name. So when we say the Lord's name, actually the Lord is very much there. This is something we cannot understand unless we reflect and listen to what Maharaji has to say about the glory of the name. In fact, Maharaji says that the name is superior than the Nami. Naam is superior than the Nami. The name is superior than the person, the personality. And he gives an example. If you are sitting in an assembly and the leader calls out the name, hey Ramesh. So Ramesh gets up. So as if Ramesh, the person, is the servant to his name. And that is exactly what the Lord is saying. When you take my name, I am there in the name. That is not the case when we call out the name of a bird or the name of an animal or the name of an object. That object or the animal or the bird does not appear. But when we say Radhe, Radha is actually present in the name. But is it just like chanting Radhe Radhe? Because a person may have a relative called Radha or Ram or Sita or Krishna. But that chanting without faith will not work. So, on this very auspicious holy festival celebrations, we renew our faith about the importance of the name and the importance of the fact that the Lord is present in every atom of the universe. Now we shall read the chapter 29, which is the beginning of Ras Leela. But before that, let us sing a bhajan. So, over to Yatinji.
जी भैया
Would you like to read the English?
जी 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 All glories to Sri Radha Krishna. Shri Krishna is very mischievous, whereas Radharani is simple and innocent hearted. Shri Krishna is hard hearted, whereas Radharani is merciful. Shri Krishna is very crooked, whereas Radharani is very simple. Shri Krishna is very lovable, but Radharani is even more lovable than Shri Krishna. Shri Krishna keeps gazing at Radharani with unlimited fondness. Shri Krishna falls down unconscious when he sees the beautiful form of Radharani. Shri Krishna sings the glories of Radharani in his flute. If you want to attain Shri Krishna, keep chanting the name Radha. Though Shri Krishna is the very form of the bliss of divine love, Radharani is the ocean and source of that divine love. Says Shri Kripaluji Maharaj, chant the names of Shri Krishna or of Radharani. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. Now we will sing this bhajan, and if any one of you wishes to sing one or two lines, please raise your hand. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe, Jai Radhe Krishna, Radhe, Jai Radhe Krishna, Radhe. Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe, Jai Radhe Krishna, Jai Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe Krishna, Radhe, Radhe Krishna, Radhe, Jai Radhe Krishna, Radhe, Jai Radhe Krishna, Radhe. कृष्ण बरे नटे खट भोरी भारी राधे, कृष्ण बरे नट खट भोरी भारी राधे, भोरी भारी राधे। कृष्ण बरे निष्ठुर दयामयी राधे, कृष्ण बरे, कृष्ण बरे निष्ठुर दयामयी राधे, दयामयी राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण, राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण, राधे कृष्ण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। कृष्ण तो है तेरे मेरे सीधी साधी राधे, कृष्ण तो है तेरे मेरे सीधी साधी राधे, सीधी साधी राधे। कृष्ण तो है प्यारे प्यारे उनते प्यारी राधे, कृष्ण तो है प्यारे प्यारे उनते प्यारी राधे, उनते प्यारी राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। Yes, Yatin ji, would you like to sing?
जी भैया। कृष्ण की तृष्णा न जा, कृष्ण की
कृष्ण
तृष्णा
की तृष्णा
तृष्णा
न
न
जाए,
जाए घूर जाए राधे, कृष्ण की तृष्णा न जाए घूर जाए राधे, घूरे जाए राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। कृष्ण होए मूर्छित देखी छवि राधे, कृष्ण होए मूर्छित देखी छवि राधे, देखी छवि राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण, राधे कृष्ण राधे, राधे कृष्ण राधे कृष्ण, राधे कृष्ण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। कृष्ण गावे मुरली में गुण गण राधे, कृष्ण गावे मुरली में गुण गण राधे, गुण गण राधे, जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। कृष्ण को जो पाना चाहो रटो राधे राधे। कृष्ण को जो पाना चाहो रटो राधे राधे। रटो राधे राधे। जय राधे कृष्ण राधे
हे कृष्ण
राधे
राधे।
राधे।
कृष्ण भी है रस किंतु रस सिंधु राधे। कृष्ण भी है रस किंतु रस सिंधु राधे। कृष्ण भजो या कृपालु। कृष्ण भजो या कृपालु भजो राधे राधे। भजो राधे राधे। कृष्ण भजो या कृपालु भजो राधे राधे। भजो राधे राधे। जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। जय राधे कृष्ण राधे। बोलिए श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की
की
जय।
जय।
श्रीमद युगल सरकार की
की
जय।
जय।
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे।
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे।
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे।
राधे।
Our koti koti pranam to the lotus feet of Sri Hari and Sri Guru. Our koti koti pranam to Swami Mukundanandji. My humble pranam to each one of you. And now let us read from the 29th chapter, which is the introduction to Ras Leela. Let me read a couple of slides and then I'll hand over to the participants. Slide number 1, Shri Shuk begins. One autumn night, when even jasmines were found in full bloom, Lord Krishna, full in all opulences, decided to fulfill his vow given to the gopis and decided to enact a Leela with his Yog Maya Shakti. It was a full moon night with the moon spreading a red hue with its soothing, calming rays, bringing peace and calm to the people who were agitated after bearing the hot sun at daytime. Just like a husband meets his beloved wife after a long separation, painting her face red with saffron paste. The moon, shining and radiant like Goddess Lakshmi, opened up the water lilies to bloom up fully open and illuminating the forests of Vrindavan with its soft rays, inspiring Sri Krishna to play the most melodious, captivating tunes with his flute. Hearing that music, stirring love in the hearts of gopis in Vraj, who were already absorbed in Krishna, the gopis dropped whatever activity they were doing and, as if pulled by the flute, hurriedly proceeded to the forest without being aware of the other gopis rushing too. So, Sri Maharaji has given a lecture on Ras Panchadhyay, the 5 chapters which are called the Ras Panchadhyay. And one should hear that lecture multiple times to make some attempts to understand what Sri Maharaji is conveying about the Ras Leela. It is a very confidential Leela of the Lord and only to be heard from someone who is authorized. So, based on whatever Sri Maharaji has spoken, we will try to understand what is being conveyed. So, first of all, who are these gopis? So, gopis fall into different categories. So, we know that there are two types of jivas, Nitya Baddha and Nitya Mukt. We are Nitya Baddha, means we are eternally bound by Maya. We are not God realized saints at this point of time. We may become God realized saints in future if we fulfill the criteria of God realization. But right now we are bound by Maya. And how long have we been bound? We have been bound eternally. There was never a time when we were not bound. On the other hand, there are Nitya Mukt. there are those souls who are eternally liberated, eternally God realized. So some of the gopis were eternally God realized associates of Krishna who appeared to participate in the Leelas when the Lord happened to be there on the planet. Some of the gopis are the Ved Richas. Richa means the Ved mantra. Vedas have 100,000 mantras and each mantra has a personality. So those gopis, some gopis, they come from that category. They are the mantras of the Vedas. They are the Richas of the Vedas. Some gopis are the great saints who were the rishis, sages in the Dandakaranya forest during Lord Ram's time. And they adored the Lord so much in Madhurya Bhav. Sri Ram promised them to fulfill their desires during Krishna avatar. So some of the gopis have appeared are the ones who were the sages in Dandakaranya forest. So similarly, there are many gopis, and they naturally love Sri Krishna so much that that love is the supreme. So what is described here is about the amazing transformation in the nature and how the flowers are blooming. What I understand, some flowers are blooming even though they did not normally appear in that season. So this was a very special time, and Krishna played the flute. So the gopis heard the flute. Others did not hear the flute because to hear Krishna's flute, one has to qualify, and only those gopis who were so close to Sri Krishna, they heard the notes of the flute and they rushed to the forest from where the flute sound was coming. So that is what we will learn, that some gopis were busy with their household life activities, and some gopis were they're lying on the bed. So some could come out, but some could not because of the fear of being caught by the husband or the others. So some of the gopis left their bodies behind and they reached the forest. Let us see the second slide. As if in a trance, listening to the flute, a gopi stopped milking the cow midway, while another forgot that the milk was kept to boil in the kitchen. Yet some others ignored the food that was still being cooked in the kitchen. Others serving food to their husbands stopped midway and rushed out. Some others who were feeding their infants too stopped and rushed. Some gopis who were having meals left in between, some who were engaged in various activities of serving their husband, elders, relatives, stopped midway and proceeded to the forest. Some gopis who were busy in grooming themselves left that too midway, not wearing mismatched wearing mismatched clothes, ran to meet their Krishna, ignoring the constraints, restraints, scolding by their husbands, parents, brothers, relatives. The gopis, now lured by the call of Krishna's flute, did not turn back or pause with their mind absorbed in their Krishna. Some gopis who were unable to go closed their eyes and meditated on Sri Krishna with an intense longing to meet him. And O Parikshit, they then had all their sins, karmas burnt up in the intense agony of separation from Sri Krishna, raging within them all this time. These gopis then transcended the sattva merits too, contemplating an embrace from their Sri Krishna. Their stockpile of karmas now completely burnt up. These gopis restrained at home, no longer identified with their material life, as they were now in yoga union in their mind with Sri Krishna, even though they knew him to be a mere paramour lover. King Parikshit queries, the gopis did not treat Krishna as the supreme. then how come they achieved final beatitude by meditating on the mortal front of Sri Krishna, whom they only saw as their Priyatam lover, acting as they were under the three gunas? So, in the beginning, we said this Leela of the Lord, we will have a lot of difficulties in comprehending that how these gopis, they are surrounded by their relatives, husbands, in-laws, they are rushing out of the house. So what Leela Lord would have played so that they could have succeeded in coming out of the house, whereas some gopis could not do it, but in their mind they have made the union with Sri Krishna, and they will also be present in the forest. Let's see the next slide. So, slide number 4 is a verse 10:29:13. Sri Shuk Uvacha. Uktam purasta, uktam purasta detate chaidyaha, uktam purastata, uktam purastata detate chaidya siddhim yathagataha. द्वविष्णपापि ऋषिकेशं किमुताधोक्ष जप जप्रियः किमुता अधोक्ष जप्रियः. Sri Shuk replied, this has already been explained to you in the previous verses, how Shishupal, the ruler of Chedi, attained the final beatitude, that is oneness with the Lord, though hating Sri Krishna, the ruler of the senses. What wonder then that the gopis who looked upon Sri Krishna, who is above sense perception, as their beloved Lord, should do so. So Devji explains the manifestation of the Lord is beyond our intellect and the three gunas, and such manifestation is intended to grace final beatitude to humans who are his devotees. Any kind of obsession with Krishna, whether in rage, fury, love, passion, affection, fear, devotion, kinship, relation, will attain oneness with Krishna of that soul. Verse 29, 10:29:16 says, न चैवं विस्मय कार्यो भवता भगवत्यजे योगेश्वरेश्वरे कृष्णे यत एतद् विमुच्यते. So this is very important to know that the gopis are apparently doing a very sinful act. They are leaving their families, whom they are supposed to serve, and running to meet someone whom they love, which is not the right dharma, not the right act as per the normal rules of the dharma. So, is that sinful? Is the doubt which Parikshit Maharaj is asking. And then he gets chastisement from Shukdev ji, because Shukdev ji reminds him that you are raising this question time and again, but it was explained to you when you saw how Shishupal also attained Sri Krishna, even though he hated Krishna so much. So the rule is whether you have concentration and contemplation of Sri Krishna in the sentiments of love or in the sentiments of hatred or in the sentiments of affection and in the sentiments of competition or fear or relationship, kinship or passion or fury, you will attain oneness with Krishna. Because if the comparison is made to consuming the poison, if someone consumes the poison out of ignorance, also the poison will have its effects and the person will die. Or whether someone consumes the poison knowing that this is poison, the poison will do the effect and he will die. So the personality of Sri Krishna is such that in whichever sentiment we contemplate on him, we get absorbed in him, we attain him. So that is what is being explained by Shukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. Now let's move on to the next set of slides. So over to Sri Vijay and other participants.
जी भैया. Vijay भैया, would you like to read?
Yes. Radhe. Hence, no feeling of wonder should be entered by you, as you do with regard to Sri Krishna, the birthless Lord, the ruler of all masters of yoga, by whose grace the whole of this mobile and immobile creation can be liberated. In this forest, Sri Krishna, seeing the gopis, spoke, "Welcome, welcome, O highly blessed ones. What gets you here? Is everything well in Braj? How can I be of help? Is it is already night time, with many fearful creatures out, and you all too should not be here. Your relations must be anxious and worried for you. O gopis, having come and now seen the beautiful forest and the Yamuna, you may not return back to Braj and serve. You may now return to Braj and serve your husbands, calves, children who were waiting for you to feed them. Or is it your love for me that got you here, which is appreciated, as all creations naturally love me? Still, it is duty of the woman to serve her family first. Serving your husband will surely get you heaven, but love with another man is condemned and is a source of trouble. You ruining your reputation, obstructing your progress to heaven, and love to me is not going to increase only with physical proximity, but with seeing me, singing my glories, meditating upon me, praising me, will increase the transcendental love much more. Dear Parikshit, when the gopis heard these words from the Sri Krishna, they were pained and tormented, but stood morose and rooted to the spot, with their downcast eyes full of misery, scratching the soil with their toenails. They all stood parched with grief, with their shoulders overburdened with sorrow, their eyes shedding tears with which washed down the kajal and saffron paste down over their bodies.
Right. So we can see Sri Krishna with the gopis on this moonlit night, and Krishna is now telling them that why have you all come here? This is not proper. Your husband, your relatives, the calves, they're all waiting for you all to go and feed them. So this is an improper act. This is not considered honorable. Your family is important, and you must go and serve the family. And if you serve your husband and the family, you will attain heaven. But if you love another man, that is a source of trouble. It will ruin your reputation. It will obstruct your progress to heaven. So all that preaching he is doing, and gopis are feeling very remorseful, very you know saddened to hear all this, and that is shown by their gestures. They are scratching the ground with their toenails, and the tears they are shedding, it is washing down their kajal, and the saffron paste also uh, washing their body. So let us now move on to the next. Yes.
Sheila Didi, yes, please.
Thank you, Bhaiya. Finally, wiping their tears, controlling themselves, overcome with love, they ask Krishna, "Oh Krishna, you ought not to speak such harsh, cruel words to us. We are your dasis. All we want is your lotus feet, just as Lord Narayan reciprocates the worship of his devotees. You too accept us and do not abandon us. We have now nowhere and no one to go to. What you say, dear Krishna, is true, that as per dharma, every woman ought to take care of her husband and children. We say, oh beloved, let such care and service be given to you. You who are our most intimate relative, the most beloved friend. No, you are the very soul of all souls. For by serving you, we automatically serve our relations too. Just like watering the roots will nourish the whole tree automatically. Real delight is found in you alone, Krishna, as these material relations are a source of agony and pain. What is to be achieved by serving them? Pray, please do not disappoint and abandon us, as we have centered our faith in you alone. We were so absorbed in our housework, and your flute lured us away from our homes. Our hands, too, are now incapable of doing any work. Our feet just won't turn back away from your feet now. Then how do we return to Bridge? And even if we somehow manage to return, our minds will still be here. So what is the purpose in going back?
So, after listening to Sri Krishna's words, gopis have reacted in this very profound way that, O Krishna, your preaching is that the Lord is the supreme and he is beyond all material relatives. And if we have come for you, what wrong have we done? That is what they are saying. Let us see what happens in the next slide.
Shall I carry on or does someone else want to read, Bhaiya?
Let me read this one. Didi.
Okay, thank you.
Your bewitching smiles, glances, and music has flared up our passions, which will be cooled only with the nectar of your lips. Oh dear friend Krishna, if we are still denied by you, we shall like yogis burn in the fire of separation, Viragni, right in front of you and attain your lotus feet, where even goddess Rama longs to touch your feet, and the forest residents are also blessed with them. We gopis too seek your feet, and after seeking them and blessed by you, it is not possible then for us to stand or seek anyone or anything else. Even the devatas who exert to seek a generous look from goddess Shri, who in turn, even though residing in your bosom, still seeks the dust of your lotus feet along with your favorite Tulsi. We too, O Krishna, seek the dust of your feet, tormented with intense longing, inspired by your piercing glances and smiles. We want to serve you as your dasis and have given up our worldly relations. We very happily want to be your slaves and want to behold you with your curly hair, earrings that get reflected in your shining cheeks, your charming looks and smiles, your stout arms ensuring safety to your devotees, and your bosom where Goddess Shri resides. Your bewitching form, accompanied with melodious music, which when seen and heard even once in the three worlds by cows, birds, trees, beasts, makes them jump in joy, then how can any woman resist it? You are born in Vraj to dispel our fears and distress, just as Lord Narayan manifests to protect the Devatas. O beloved, accept us and place your hand on our heads and bosom and bless us, your dasis. Shukdev ji continues. Krishna laughed heartily, hearing the gopis' prayers, and always obliging to his devotees, decided to delight them. Radhe Radhe.
Right. So the very wonderful conversation continues. The gopis have given their explanation that you are desired by you, and those who are in separation, they are burning in the fire of Virahagni. So if you don't accept us, we will also get burnt in the fire of separation and attain your lotus feet. And so They give the reference of goddess Lakshmi, who is residing in Sri Krishna's heart, and she still seeks the dust of your lotus feet along with her favorite Tulsi. So they want to aspire the same. And then they also say, we happily want to be your slaves and want to behold you with your curly hair, earrings that get reflected in a shining cheeks. So all these very bewitching the statements we come across in this Ras Leela introduction. Now let us move to the next slide.
Seeing him shining radiantly like the full moon and smiling now, the gopis' faces bloomed and they all gathered together. All of them singing together, Krishna wearing the Vajanti Mala, roamed with the lovely gopis, gracing the forest with his presence, finally arriving at the banks of River Yamuna, whose sands were cool due to the waves and the air carrying the fragrance of the kumuds, water lilies. Krishna sported with the gopis there, physically touching them. Krishna brought immense delight to the gopis, who were now thrilled to get all the loving attention from Krishna. Slowly, the gopis started considering themselves superior, having got Krishna's attention. Each considered herself the best and grew proud. Verse 10, 29, 48. तासां तत्सौभगमदं वीक्षयमानं च केशवः प्रशमाय प्रसादाय तत्रैवान्तरधीयत. Perceiving their vanity produced by such rare good luck as well as their pride, Lord Shri Krishna, the ruler even of Brahma and Shiva, disappeared on that very spot with a view to curbing their pride once for all and in order to shower his grace on them. Perceiving the inner pride of the gopis with an intention to get rid of his pride and purify them, Krishna disappeared from their midst and was no longer seen by the gopis. Radhe Radhe.
Radhe Radhe. So this is the end of the first chapter in the Ras Leela episodes, Ras Panchadhyayi. So Sri Krishna has started to fulfill their desires. He is in the midst of all these gopis, and he has put his hands on their heads, and whatever they had wished, Shri Krishna has fulfilled. But the gopis are now feeling a sense of pride, and they are thinking that they indeed are the best, and Shri Krishna belongs alone only to them. That kind of pride has germinated in their minds, and at that point Sri Krishna vanishes. That's the end of the session, the chapter today, and very exciting. The other leelas will unfold in the next chapters. So now we will move to the takeaways. So the takeaways are from the Gokarna Bhagavat. So there are different essence summary of Bhagavat. Bhagavat is spoken by Sukdev Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. Bhagavat is spoken by Sut Goswami to Sonkadik Rishis. Bhagavat is spoken by Maitreya Rishi to Vidurji. Bhagavat is spoken by Gokarn to Dundukari. Bhagavat is spoken by Sri Krishna to Uddhavji. There are different episodes in which Bhagavat has been spoken. So after Gokarn has spoken Bhagavat to Dundukari, we all know that Dundukari was so sinful that he had been killed by those 5 women, and then he had got the body of a ghost. But then he has started thinking about it, and then he has approached his cousin Gokarn, and Gokarn is finally helping him with Bhagavad recitation. And Dundukari has come and settled in the bamboo uh, tree, which had 7 knots. This was a 7 days Bhagavad Katha, and on every night, one knot will break because the ghost has the body of air. The ghost doesn't have the material body like us. The ghost has a body of air, which is very fickle. So, how to remain stationary? So, it went into the bamboo. And then on the first night, one knot broke. In the second night, the second. And after the 7 knots are broken, from the bamboo emerged a very majestic looking person with great dress and ornaments. And that was the transformation of Dundukari. So before this incident, Gokarn had spoken to his father Atmadev after Dundukari had behaved in such gory and ghastly manner that the mother had fallen into the well and died, and the father had left home. But before he left home, Gokarnji had given this piece of advice to his his cousin's father, his father, his father Atmadev, and that is called Gokarn Bhagavat. And there is a saying that if somebody is not enthused enough to go further into the reading of Bhagavad Mahapuran, he can concentrate on the essence of Bhagavat in Gokarn Bhagavat, and he would have been considered eligible to have read the full Bhagavat. That is how important this particular Bhagavat is, Gokarn Bhagavat. So let me read once, and if others wish, they can read too. So Gokarn Uvacha देहे स्थिमांसुरुधिरे विमतिं त्यजत्वं जाया सुतादिषु सदा ममतां विमुञ्च पश्यानिशं जगदीदं क्षणभङ्गनिष्ठं वैराग्यरागरसिको भवभक्तिनिष्ठः. Gokarn continued, seize you to identify yourself with the body consisting of bones, flesh, and blood. Give up forever the feeling of meum with regard to wife, son, and so on. Constantly look upon the wired as momentary. Taste the joy of dispassion and be established in devotion to the Lord. Meum is one's own relatives and one's attachments. So Gokarn is saying, you went through such miseries. Dundukari has tormented you and tortured you, and you are going to the forest. But this is what you should do in the forest. You look upon the world as momentary. You look upon this world as momentary. You don't get depressed, and you see yourself as a body consisting of bone, flesh, blood, and you have to detach yourself. And when you taste the joy of dispassion, you will be established in devotion to the Lord. And then the second verse, Dharma bhajasva satatam tyaj dharman sevasva sadhu purushanjahi kama trishnam anyam अन्यस्य दोषगुणचिन्तनमाशु मुक्त्वा संवाक्धार समहो nitaram pibatvam. Constantly practice the virtue of remembering the Lord. Abandon all temporal duties. Wait upon saintly persons and give up the thirst for the pleasures of sense, ceasing at once to dwell on the shortcomings and excellences of others. Enjoy your exclusively the delight of serving the Lord and listening to his stories. So there are some amazing words of wisdom that not only we should control the sense pleasures, the thirst for the sense pleasures, one has to not find faults in others, and also one has not to, get attached to somebody with great excellence. Both are binding. Suppose someone is so much in love with cricket and he gets his mind attached to the great cricket players. So that kind of attachment is also binding. It will not take us uh, closer to the Lord, because our mind will get attached to those personalities. Similarly, if we are in the hatred mood, that will also be a big constraint. So neither be dwelling on the shortcomings and excellence of others. That is one very important point here. And then we should take delight in serving the Lord and listening to his stories. And the last shlok in Gokarn Bhagavad is Evam sutokti vashtopi griham vihaya yato vanam isthir matir gata sasti varshah yukto harer nudinam परिचर्ययासो श्रीकृष्णमापनियतं दशमस्य पाठात्. Renouncing his home in response to his son's advice, Atmadev withdrew to the forest. Although he was on the wrong side of 60 at that time, he was a man of firm determination, engaged day and night in service to his Sri Hari. He attained to Sri Krishna by regularly reading Book 10 of Srimad Bhagavat. So, Book 10 is the 10th canto which we are reading. He concentrated on the 10th canto and doing what his son Gokarn had preached him, he attained God realization. That is the story of Atmadev, and this is the Gokarn Bhagavad, the conversation between Gokarn, the person with the with the ears of a cow and the body of a human, and his father Atmadev. So with that, we have completed the text reading and the takeaways. So over to Yatinji.
Ji bhaiya. It's a beautiful session as usual, but this is like more special as it is the starting of the Ras Leela of the first of the 5 chapters. Even when we were reading the conversation between even one paragraph, like lot of knowledge is there between the conversations happening between gopis and Shri Krishna. Initially, how he said it, and even the said and even unsaid things are like too much. Even one sentence is a lot of tattva gyan in it. So we were reading as a to covering it, but I mean definitely it should be read uh, in a slow pace, understanding like what is written, what gopis are saying to Shri Krishna, and what Shri Krishna is saying back. So I mean definitely needs to be read again to actually understand the uh, like actually understand the conversation which happened that time. So yeah, and bhajan was like really nice. Yeah.
Yeah, because I have that book also, Ras Panchadhyay. Maharaji lecture has been published in the book form, and it is, I think, a must read for those who are very passionate about Srimad Bhagavat Mahapuran. What Maharaji has said is very, very beautiful, and one has to read and listen to the lecture. Lecture is also available freely in the internet, Ras Panchadhyay. So I think for anyone really serious about Bhagavat Mahapuran, this is a must reading.
Ji भैया,
So, right.
जी भैया. Vijay भैया, Sheila दीदी, like to say something?
राधे राधे भैया. हमारे
राधे
साथ
राधे।
कृतिक कुमार जी हैं। ये आपसे कुछ पूछना चाहते हैं, इनके मन में कुछ संशय है, तो मैंने इनको
जी
कहा था कि आप भैया से शनिवार के दिन अपना प्रश्न पूछ लेंगे तो शायद आपको कुछ समाधान मिलेगा। कृतिक
जी
पात्र।
जी,
राधे राधे।
धन्यवाद, वेलकम वेलकम।
राधे राधे। मेरे पास एक सवाल था, क्योंकि मैं कल माँ से बात कर रहा था कि अगर एवोल्यूशन ट्रू है तो फिर ये क्यों कहते हैं कि कृष्णा ने सारे चीज को क्रिएट किए, क्योंकि ये बहुत और सारे धर्म में भी के हुए हैं कि उनके भगवान ने सारे चीज को क्रिएट किए, परंतु मैं जब हम लोग स्कूल में पढ़ रहे थे कि सारे जो ह्यूमंस है, जो क्रीचर्स है, वो इवॉल्व हुए हैं, कोई उसको क्रिएट नहीं किया।
हाँ, तो इसको एवोल्यूशन भी बोल सकते हो, दैट इज द वर्ड। आप एवोल्यूशन बोलो, क्रिएशन बोलो, लेकिन जैसे पहला मनुष्य, फर्स्ट ह्यूमन, वो कैसे प्रकट हुआ इस संसार में, आप एवोल्यूशन बोलो या क्रिएशन बोलो, तो कहाँ से वो इंटेलिजेंस आया कि ह्यूमन का ऐसा शेप होगा, ह्यूमन का ऐसा ब्रेन होगा, उसके हार्ट होंगे, उसके इसकी रचना कैसे हुई, ये शक्ति कैसे आई, उसमें प्रकट हुई। तो आप वर्ड्स जो भी बोलो, बट भागवत इज एक्सप्लेनिंग कि एक ब्रह्मा जी हैं और ब्रह्मा जी के मानस पुत्र होते हैं, और फिर वहां से सृष्टि आरंभ होती है, फिर मनु और शत्रुपा से नॉर्मल जो हम लोग आज की सृष्टि देखते हैं वहां से प्रारंभ होती है। तो बिल्कुल एक सीक्वेंशियल डिस्क्रिप्शन है, जबकि जो बाकी जो थ्योरी है वो एवोल्यूशनरी थ्योरी, उसकी कोई मतलब सॉलिड बेसिस नहीं है, वो स्पेक्युलेटिव है, और उनके ऑथर्स का भी मानना है कि उनके पास कोई प्रूफ नहीं है उसका। तो दैट इज माय आंसर।
ठीक है, धन्यवाद।
And you were asking about the
धन्यवाद।
existence of God.
सो हम लोग एक और टॉपिक पढ़ रहे थे स्कूल में, अगर भगवान होते हैं तो फिर इवल और सफरिंग क्यों होता है?
तो इसका तो बहुत ही एक अच्छा सा एक वीडियो है कि एक बार्बर ने किसी को पूछा कि भगवान नहीं है इसलिए कि इतनी सफरिंग है, तो वो जो इंसान अपना शेविंग करा रहा था, बाल कटा रहा था, उसके पास उस समय जवाब नहीं था, बट वो जब सैलून से बाहर निकला तो फिर उसको आंसर मिल गया। उसने बाहर में एक बेगर को देखा जिसके बाल बड़े हुए थे और दाढ़ी बड़ी हुई थी, तो उसको लाया वो सैलून में और बोला कि इस संसार में कोई बार्बर नहीं है। तो जस्ट बिकॉज की सफरिंग है, इट डज नॉट मीन कि भगवान नहीं है। सफरिंग का रीजंस है, कर्म का सिद्धांत है कि कुछ लोग सुख में रहेंगे, कुछ लोग दुख में रहेंगे, अपने अपने कर्मों के सिद्धांत, भगवान का वो सिद्धांत है, जैसी करनी वैसी भरनी, जैसे बाइबल में कहा है एज यू सो सो यू रीप। तो कोई अभी अगर पुअर है और बहुत मिजरीज में है, तो उसके पास कर्म ऐसे थे कि उसको इस सफरिंग से गुजरना पड़ेगा, और किसी के कर्म इतने अच्छे थे कि उसको बहुत सारे वेल्थ मिल गए हैं, तो वो अपना जीवन सुख में बिता रहा है। तो ये तो एक मतलब नियम के अनुसार सब कुछ चल रहा है। तो इविल का होना, भगवान ने ऐसा इविल बनाया ऐसा नहीं है, वो एब्सेंस ऑफ गुडनेस है। मतलब जो इंसान ने जैसा कर्म किया उसके अनुसार उसको सुख और दुख मिल रहा है, तो इसमें उनके नियम के अनुसार सब कुछ चल रहा है। जी
ठीक है, फिर धन्यवाद।
धन्यवाद, थैंक यू।
शीला दीदी, विजय भैया, हेमा दीदी, एनीवन?
गूढ़ है ये रास पंचाध्यायी वाला, रास वाला ये सेशन, और जैसे कि यतिन भैया ने कहा, वी हैव टू गो इन डिटेल्स एंड रीड इट आवरसेल्व्स, सो दैट्स व्हाट आई एम होपिंग टू डू, and thank you for a very loving, caring, planned in such a beautiful way session as normal. Thank you. Radhe Radhe.
Me?
I think if no one. Ah, okay, Hema Didi. Yes.
Radhe Radhe.
Hema's voice. Yes.
Oh gosh, these next few coming chapters, they're going to be very soul stirring again. You cannot,
Absolutely.
no matter how many times you read these chapters, listen to them through audio, even read the sentences of the Gopi Gate, I still cannot get my head around this. It's something that needs to be repeated and repeated every day, just like how we have our roti and dal. And hopefully, with Maharaj's grace, we eventually get there and we understand the contents of it. It's the repetition, it's keeping the lectures that Maharaj has on the YouTube channel ever fresh in mind. These gopis were really, really, truly amazing. They were devoted selflessly to the Lord, leaving their households in the middle of the night, wildebeests in the forest, the sounds. They didn't care. They just wanted to run towards their beloved, run towards the sound of that flute, be at his lotus feet. So the next few chapters are going to be very, very intense. I don't know what Yatin Bhaiya is going to come up with the slides. I'm looking forward to them very much. Thank you so much once again. You do an outstanding seva of the slides and the text. You really do. Sort of really stirs one up for the rest of the day. Radhe Radhe, thank you so much.
Radhe Radhe. So, if nothing else, shall we close the session, Bhaiya?
जी भैया, जी भैया.
Right. बोलिए श्रीमद सदगुरु सरकार की
की
जय.
जय,
श्रीमद युगल सरकार की
की
जय.
जय.
जय जय श्री
श्री
राधे.
राधे.
जय
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 श्री
श्री
राधे.
राधे.
जय
जय
श्री
जय श्री राधे. राधे राधे एवरीवन.
राधे राधे.